it's more than what it actually is, which is money or product or service. And so you get it on credit. And sometimes when it comes time to pay back, we're slower than when we bought the thing. And that's all of us. It's just sometimes something in us. When you buy something from someone on credit, if you've agreed to it, you owe that person that you're obligated. You owe the person that money back. And so when it's time to pay it back, it's more than just paying back the money. It's your word. And so what was developed is what we have as a report and a score on your credit. And most people are so intimidated by that they won't even pull their free credit report. Now, why is that? Because their credit report is reflective of them. And that's what your credit report is. And so when people don't want to see their credit report, they don't want to see their reflection. Because your credit score is nothing but a reflection of you. Now, if there is something on your credit report that you have not done, I can understand those things. And in a fair system, for the most part, those things get taken care of. And there are ways that you can administratively go on the record and, have it annotated as to what's going on and blah, blah, blah. And eventually that gets straightened out. Now, just speaking on the average person who there's no fraud on their credit report, it's a reflection of them. And it's a reflection of your word. Because if I look at a person with a bad credit report, in general, that's a person that if you really know how to look at a person and really check them, you could tell that that person is just like their credit report, which is their word is no good. Their word is not bond. See, most of the time, now it's not always, but most of the time when you owe someone, if you make an effort towards paying them, they usually will cut you a break. If you show that you have good faith in paying them back, they usually will give you a break and extend whatever period it is, and maybe even be lenient on the payments. And so it's important to think about the credit in terms of your word. It's not a thing to just think about, oh, well, I bought something for $100 or I borrowed $100 and I didn't pay it back. Okay, so I owe them the $100, whoop-de-doo, I'll get it back to them. They'll get it when I get it. Think real hard about the integrity of it, your word, and really make your word like so unbreakable. And live that, and really live that shit. And you'll see that when you start doing that, people will start extending things to you that you never thought were possible. I was listening to a younger cat in the store. I was just overhearing him. He was talking. He was talking loud to his homeboy. And so he was saying how he owed whoever. And he owed them like 130. But he only had 200. And so he wasn't about to break himself to pay them. So in other words, he didn't want to have $70 left and pay his obligation of the 130 out of the total 200. He was going to hold on to the 200. He felt more secure that way and let the 130, whoever he owed, wait. Now, that sounds good. That sounds good. But if I were him, I would have broke my neck with the 200 to pay that 130, no matter who it was. and have the 70 and try to chill with that and be more conservative if I didn't have any more. You know what I'm saying? So I would have paid the 130 off the top because I gave whoever it was my word, whether it was Visa, MasterCard, the Verizon, AT&T, whoever, I gave them my word. And when you don't pay them, then they turn around and report you after a while to say this person doesn't keep his word. So it's better, in my opinion, to pay someone even if you just got a little scratch left, right? You just be more conservative. But the thing is, let's say it's a credit card. At least you could then go back to the credit card and borrow again. But your word is bond and your word is good, right? So when I see people think like that, it makes me think, wow, you know, how are you thinking? Because you ain't thinking about your word. You're just thinking in numbers. Man, if I give the person 130, I only got 70. And that's true. But the deal is, your word is the bigger thing. Your word is your bond. That's why on the credit report, you're going to see that it's going to be saying, it's going to be reporting all of these things and show them how you report them, how you pay them on time or not. To show what was your word. When you told somebody you'd pay them on the 15th, what was your word? Your word could be all green in those boxes for all the years or months or whatever. Or it could be red, green, red, green, red, all of this kind of stuff where you sporadically paid somebody. It's going to show what your word is, what your bond is, how you fulfill your obligations. So when you don't want to look at your credit score, you don't want to look at yourself. And if you don't fulfill your obligations when it comes to your bills, most of the time in other aspects of your life, you don't fulfill your obligations either. You might think you do, but if you really analyze it, you probably don't. Because why wouldn't you keep your word in all aspects of your life? But moreover, why wouldn't you keep the aspect of your life where you owe people money? And why am I saying that? Because we live in America and our economic system is capitalism. And the root word of capitalism is capital. So the majority of people, from what I hear, they say, get rich. If they do get rich, they get rich using other people's money. And you can use other people's money. But then it falls back on one of the first things I'm going to look at is the strength on which you pay people back. See, if you start getting a good credit rating, you would possibly be able to buy you a home. And even though a home is not as lucrative as it used to be in some aspects, you still can use it as your first deal that breaks you out some equity, right? You can borrow against it, right? At some point, I've heard plenty of people who finance deals that they've made a lot of money on. They finance them through credit cards. You know, once you get a system going with credit cards, you can keep incrementally increasing as long as you're paying them back. And people get good scores by using systems, as well as get credit limits that allow them a lot of times to start small businesses. So it's very important that you keep your word, because your word is going to basically reflect in all aspects of your life. If you tell somebody you're going to do something, you do it. And that's very important. Very important. So look at this point. I want you to look at your credit score and think about that as you're looking at this, as you're looking at it, that this is a reflection of me. When the people pull my credit report, the people that I allow to do it, they don't see the person that I am, that my family thinks I am, all nice, and they don't see all of that. My classmates, if I happen to be a college student, they don't see, you know, me when I do this or do that and I think I'm doing good. No, and I still don't pay my bills because I didn't want to give them that, you know, 130. Blah. They all that. That's all they see is that. Right? They don't look at anything else about you. They don't know you. They're pulling the thing and seeing, based on these reports, these numbers, this person here does not fulfill obligations, or either this person does. And let me tell you something, nowadays, of course, even more so, with all of this information sharing. They've got all of these algorithms to tell when you're spending, how you're spending, what your credit is, and what all of this stuff. When you pay back, how much you owe on other credit cards, so that they'll send you another credit card that says, hey, we can transfer the balance for no interest for this amount of time. And they got it all down. So as you start fulfilling your obligations, one of the things you're going to find is all kinds of opportunities are going to open up. And a lot of them you're not going to want. But there are going to be some that you take advantage of, and you're going to be taking advantage of them at much better opportunity rates than other people, because you're going to be above them in terms of doing what you say you're going to do. And that's the most important thing to take from this. And that is that you become on paper a person who appears to do what they say they're going to do by way of paying their obligations, their bills. So please pay attention to that, because that's going to be so important, especially for a younger person, vital in terms of building wealth. And it's time to start building it now. Take a good look at yourself. Take a good look at your credit report.